Welcome to the Live Your Dreams podcast, where success leaves clues and someone has your answer. Joined as always with my lovely co-host, Mrs. Tia Mckisset.
Hello.
All right, so first and foremost, Tia, you were on a sabbatical last week. That's like 2. So please, inquiring minds want to know, what did you do on your sabbatical?
I was chilling.
So I said you were renegotiating your contract, trying to hold out for more money. You getting more money to be on the podcast?
Oh, yeah. I want a raise.
Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, today we're talking about a serious topic. We talk about fear. One of the things, I read a lot of books and I heard that a lot of people say fear is false evidence appearing real. Right? Mm-hmm. So, a lot of people when they talk about fear, let me talk about myself. When I talk about fear, it's something that, and I'm speaking only for myself, believe that's something I'm always dealing with or always gonna deal with. But although I have the fear, it don't stop me from acting upon what I need to do. Or the fear doesn't stop me from doing the things that I need to do to be successful. Because this is Live Your Dreams podcast, right? So we want to do something to, I guess, let everybody know, hey, you can live your dreams, right? Success leaves clues. Somebody has your answer. But fear is going to come up. What do you do when you get fearful? So, Tia, what do you do when you get fearful? Or do you even have fear? Because you look fearless.
No. No, I get fearful.
Okay, so when you get fearful, what do you do?
I immediately start praying and coming to you and anybody that will want to listen about whatever that fear is coming from.
Yeah. So usually I know on the outside looking in, because you always look at other people sometime to compare yourself to. On the outside looking in, every time when I look at you, you appear to be on top of the world or fearless. So.
But that's everybody.
What, just it looks like you don't have no fear, but you think everybody has the fear.
Right.
Yeah, because sometimes because I know I deal with fear, but it doesn't stop me to do the things I need to do.
But I don't stay in that fear.
So what do you mean by that?
Well, you could be fearful for a moment and then pray about it and just hope the best. And then you kind of get over it. Yeah.
Now, I guess some of the fears or phobias I know that we have, and I guess with you, I know you don't like airplanes.
Right.
Right? But we've been on several flights, but I know usually we'll drive somewhere instead of flying. When it comes to a plane, how do you get on the plane knowing you have fear of planes? Or I guess, first and foremost, where does the fear come from of planes?
I don't know. Sometimes I think, is this plane going to make it or, But at the same time, I want to go where I want to go. So I get on it and be fearful, but at the same time, just pray that everything will be okay.
Yeah. So one of the things, because again, I know when we do get on planes, before we get on, you may get a little anxious, but it seems like while we're on the plane ride, you don't seem too anxious.
Well, I try to calm down. I don't want to get up there and start acting a fool.
Right. So that's one of the things, but it's amazing that, we can have these fears, but still somehow, some way we find coping mechanisms to overcome them. Right. We find coping mechanisms to be able to still do the things we need to do. Right. Now, one of the fears I had, especially with, I guess, family is important to me.
Right.
Me
too.
But some of the fears I had with, you would think in your mind, sometimes your mind plays tricks on you, and you say, "Hey, am I being a good dad? Am I being a good husband?"
Right.
And some of those fears, I'll start overguessing, or I'll start overthinking,
right,
and wonder, "Hey, am I doing a good job?" And I've noticed that because I look at a lot of I'll read a lot of biographies of successful people. And for some reason, you would look at someone, say for instance a singer who sings really well, everybody else will say, hey, you sing flawlessly.
Right.
But then you start talking to this person, they say, no, I feel fears. You know, I knew a lot of speakers, and they would say, hey, before I go on, I get really anxious. I get really nervous. But when they come out, you can't tell.
Right.
You can't tell at all. So I guess it's not the ability to not have fear, because I think we're all going to have fear. But I think it's what's the coping mechanisms you use to get over the fear, to do the things you need to do to be successful.
Right.
Right? So I think that's the key, is what is the coping mechanisms to make you do the things you need to do to be successful. So when you look at that, and you said you pray, and again, I work hard to, and I don't push religion or politics on anybody. Again, I always say, hey, you do you. But I think that's one of the things, because I find myself, you know, when I get into difficult situations, I really don't know the outcome. In my mind, I kind of think of some of the outcomes that could happen, and sometimes the outcomes are not in my favor. And, you know, I'll get on my knees and pray.
Right.
Too. So I use that also, because, again, it helps me. It puts me in a better place to do the things I need to do to be successful, you know?
And also, I think my worries and fears, I worry over other people's, like my children or other people's situations.
Like what? I mean, give me an example.
Like if they going through something, I'll take on it also, and then worry about, I hope they be okay, or I hope the situation comes out, good.
Yeah, so that's amazing, because I knew someone, you know, I told you the story before, that, I mean, they were able to take on a lot when it comes to other people.
Right.
You know, they would, I mean, this person would be the person that somebody could call in 2 a.m. and they would talk, talk them down.
Right.
Talk them off the bridge. And I always wondered, how could that be? You know, how could you do that? Because, again, I don't think I was that type of person where I can take on everybody's responsibilities or problems, you know? So I think that's a good trait to have. Unfortunately or fortunately, I don't have that trait where I take on other people's problems. But when you talk about fear for other people, I mean, does it feel like it's your fear?
It feel like it's my problem too.
Really? Wow. So that's one of the things. And again, success leaves clues. Someone has your answer. I think you're helping somebody with that, because there's different people. That's one of the things I notice when you talk about life, you talk about success, is different types of people. And I think that's what makes the world go round. You have so many different type of people that no matter what it could be, or I would say no matter what the situation, somebody can deal with that, right? So if you look at that, because you said you can take on other people's, and it really makes you kind of feel fearful because of the outcome.
And I feel like I'm in that situation and may not be able to sleep, or heart is racing because I'm worrying about their situation. Yeah,
that's amazing. And other people could be like that. But one of the things I did notice, because you're a triplet, I know you and your sisters can kind of know what the other person's going through, things like that. And maybe that's one of the things that you have because you're a triplet.
Right.
That's just a trait that you have.
It is.
You know, that's one of the things where you really have compassion for other people and things like that, you know? So, and again, I guess my number one fear has always been is just family. I mean, that's been my number one fear, making sure my family was good. So I guess I have some of that.
And I think everybody worries over their family and making sure everything turn out well, whether they can pay their bills and, keep their jobs. Everybody got some type of fear in their life.
Yeah, that makes sense.
People worry over their health,
Yeah. So what we'll do, let's take a quick commercial break. We finally got a sponsor, okay? So we take a quick commercial break, and we're going to be advertising for Short Child Care. All right, for Short Child Care, the flyers on the screen now, they are taking enrollments now for the fall. It is a waiting list, so make sure you get on the waiting list now. All right, so we're back. So we have our first sponsor, so that's exciting. So again, our first sponsor. So getting back to what we were talking about with fear.
Okay.
All right. So when you look at fear, Tia, and I guess talking about myself, it's always good if you have someone you can be transparent with, I think, because when you and I talk, you tell me some of your fears, I tell you some of my fears. I think it helps.
It does.
Because then I guess it shows how vulnerable or how human you are.
Right.
Right? That you need someone to, I guess, bounce that off of.
Right.
Because sometimes, again, go back to the thing where I do try to be macho sometimes, but sometimes I do get fears. When I was young, when we first got married, I used to have financial fears. I used to always think that financial devastation was coming our way. I mean, I felt that.
I never thought that.
I mean, well, again, I think your mindset. Remember, you grew up with Tom, so your mindset money's not a problem because Tom didn't even have worries about money. But I think even though I was exposed to Tom, and Tom helped me become a positive person, helped me become a individual who could get skills that could earn money. Still, early in our marriage, it didn't set in then. So I had fears, man. I mean, serious fears on financial devastation. So anyone out there who's having those type of fears, especially if you're young, starting a new family, I get it. I know. I've been there. You get these fears that it's just going to all end, like you're dreaming and somebody's going to pull the rug from under you, right?
Right.
And I've been there. But one of the things I guess that helped me first and foremost is developing a skill set. Because once you develop a skill set, no matter what happens, you can always get it back over and over again.
Right.
And now that I have several skill sets, that really isn't a concern for me like it used to be.
Right.
So I understand the fear, especially for someone who's starting a family and young, those fears you may have. But like you said, you grew up with Tom. You didn't even think about that. Money's not even a thought because Tom, you had Tom from young all the way up.
Right.
You got exposed to Tom when I was 21. We got married at 21. So I had him for the time that, while he was here. So, and I understand how you can think that way because you had him the whole time. So definitely. But I guess if you think of any other fears, the financial fears when I was younger, family fears, now that our children are adults, young adults, I don't think, I don't know if it's because I'm the father. I don't have those fears like you may, because I think we did our best in raising them and bringing them up. And I think we put so many different things in their mind. They have certain habits and practices and beliefs that I know for a fact they'll be fine, right?
I know they'll be fine.
Yeah, so I think that's one of the things where I guess those fears don't really come to me like that. Now that, I'm getting that health tip, I guess as you get older, you start to think about the health piece. But now that I'm starting to get physically fit, taking my health back, some of those fears are starting to disappear because now I'm starting to feel better, right? I'm starting to have more energy, which is amazing because, when we were coming up, you thought as you got older, your energy decreased. You thought as you got older, you started to get these aches and pains. But now, and I have lupus, but now that I'm getting older and taking my health back, I'm starting to feel better. I'm starting to get energy. I mean, I walk every day, so I don't have any aches or anything like that. So I think some of those health fears, some of the things we can do to kind of help with that. But again, there's some circumstances that no matter what, and I understand that. But I think, speaking only for myself, some of those fears I had on the health piece, you can do things for that, especially with, like my mom died of colon cancer, but I've already had 3 colonoscopies.
Right.
Right. So it's some things you can do to kind of offset that. Right.
That's true.
So I think that's it too. So what other fears do you deal with?
Sometimes I think about health, and then now that my parents are gone, sometimes you get fearful because they're not here, and you feel like, oh, now we the oldest.
Right. And I don't know how it happened because sometimes I look around like how did we switch places with them, right?
Right.
because now I look like, man, when I met Tom, he was younger than I am now. Mm-hmm. And now I'm coming to the point where he's gone, right?
Right.
And now we're here.
Right.
And it's amazing how time switches.
And time flies fast.
Right.
So you got to appreciate your loved ones while they're with you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think some of the things is work on the fear piece so you don't spend your time in fear.
Right.
That you can spend your time happy, right? Healthy, wealthy. I think that's one of the things where every day you work toward that so you're not spending your time doing that.
Right.
You know?
That's true.
So, again, I think that's one of the keys. And before we wrap up, too, got to say, hey, Mo, great job in the audio. I mean, the visual. I mean, the whole piece. So great job doing that. I mean, you could tell the improvement from our first episode.
Right.
You know, and now where we're going now, and now we have sponsors. So pretty soon we're going to be so you're going to have to renegotiate your contract again.
Oh, that'd be nice.
All right. So, again, in conclusion, what else do you have, Tia?
If you're going through fear, try to pray. Some people like to pray. Some people like to lean on their family members, your husband, your wife, your children, and just try to enjoy life without thinking about fear.
Yeah, yeah. Good stuff. So I'm going to see if I can get this right, Tia.
Okay.
This close, because sometimes I do. Look at that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please like, subscribe, share. And again, I'll see you, and yes, I do mean you, living your dreams. Peace.